Hey, what's up, you guys? My name is Landa and Morgan, and as always, I'm accompanied by my beautiful wife.
Hello, I'm Rotunda Morgan.
And you are tuned into another episode of Living More with the Morgans. And today, you guys, we got a good show for you, as we always do. I think it'd be pretty dope. It's pretty dope. And so, you guys, we're taking you 5,000, 8,000 miles across the world, where the sun is probably already down or up. I don't know, whatever time it is that you're looking at it. We're taking you all the way to Tokyo, Japan, Nagasaki, Osaka, Japan, you guys, one of our favorite countries. Yes. And we've had a chance to visit Tokyo about 10 years ago. And you guys, if you haven't been, what you're seeing back here behind us, we got the cherry blossom trees. They fall in this like fall, autumn. Things are turning, and it's sexy. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we taking it all the way to the land of the East, right? The land of the rising sun, all the way in Japan, you guys. But we want you to come along with us. And as always on Living More with the Morgans, we're talking about a little bit of everything. Societal issues. We're talking about what's going on with families. We're talking about what's going on around the world. And we're also talking about things that you can explore with travel, different countries you can go to, different cities, and what you can do right there in your own local area. And so you never know what you're going to find right here on Living More with the Morgans. And so you guys that are tuned in to our YouTube channel, you're tuned in to our Facebook page. You might be listening to us from your favorite podcast station. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Google. You name it. We're on the Amazon, Spotify. Like I said, if you listen to your podcast, wherever you listen to your podcast, you're going to find Living More with the Morgans. So we want you to rock with us today. We're going to be here for about a good 45 minutes to an hour, you guys, and we're going to make it fun, but we're also going to make it informative. And we got to make it informative because there are things going on right now in our world that we're in the holiday season. And right now there can be a lot of just chaos going on in the world right now. And you would think that because we're going into the holidays, it would be more festive. People would be more calmer, more cool. But that has, over the years, has kind of become the whole polar opposite, yes. You know.
Everything's changed.
And people are starting to bug out and stuff during the holidays. But also, we also understand that people have lost loved ones. And so there can be people battling bouts of depression and all different kinds of things. So we're going to get into that on this episode of Living More with the Morgans. But we're really going to touch on distractions and illusions. Again, distractions and illusions, and everything, especially now in our world today, everything is not all that it seems to be. Everything is not all that it's cracked up to be. And so I think right now, you guys, we really want to touch on this because so many people can be up in arms about things that they're seeing. They can be up in arms about things that they think they're seeing, right? And we really want to touch on that, you guys, because here recently, I had an encounter online where I saw people were responding to a particular post that was a straight up lie. Now, even though it was a good post, it was even a positive post, but it was not, the information was falsified. It was not true. And so when I saw this information, I had to say something. I had to jump in and say something because I've been seeing a lot of it, and I've been seeing a lot of it where people are being taken advantage of because they don't know what they're looking at. They don't know what they're seeing. And so what that is these are distractions created by illusions, created by things that people think they're seeing, but they're not really seeing. And we're even seeing some of that, of course, in the business world right now, where you can get spam that looks like a legitimate email, right? You think you're getting something from Gmail or one of your businesses, or you think you're getting something from a corporate company. You apply for a job and you think you're getting a reply back from the job that you applied for, only to find out that this was spam and somebody is fraudulently trying to hack you. So we want to be careful about that, but we really want to dive in today on this topic. And then we're also going to tie that into how people are responding to these things, right, as far as mentally. People are going into bouts of depression. People are going into just way left field because of the outcomes that some of these illusions and distractions are creating. And so Babe, what are your thoughts on that? Because I want to really jump right in. I think this is going to be a good topic. I think this is going to be something that we can really hit home with a lot of people today.
I agree, and I think that because this topic we're touching on this topic, we can be able to help spearhead some things for people so that they won't be duped in thinking that this is something that is true when it's not. I know a lot of you, we're in a world, of course, of AI. Everything is, and people are, it's like a dog world too now. Nothing's the same. You spoke about the holidays. It's not like when we were growing up or when we were in our early 20s and 30s and stuff, like, holidays were fun, festive. You were, excited. Now, it has changed because our world has changed. So we want to get into talking about, understanding what you see on social media, what you see on the internet. Is it real? Is it falsified? And how you can tell if it is or if it's not. Right.
And I love that you hit on AI, because right now, whether we like it or not, we are in an AI world. It's here. And just like 25, 26 plus years ago, the internet was the main thing. www was everywhere. And so that shifted our world. It shifted how we do business. It shifted how we get information. It shifted how we communicate with one another. And so now, you guys, we're in another shift here in the 21st century, is that, and we got to ride with it. We got to rock with this shift. But I think, and I want to back a little bit to when the internet came out. I think a lot of people sometimes look at stuff that, when something new drops, that's evil, or that's the devil, right? Particularly in our Christian communities, sometimes we can look at new inventions or new technology, and we can look at it, that's the devil, that's the devil. And we have to, to really hit on that, we have to remember that the devil is not a creator of anything. He does not have the ability to create anything, but he manipulates everything, right? And so he tries to replicate everything. Right. And so you have to go back to the original intention of why something was created. Right. The internet was not created. We can even go back to, when the telephone was created, or the TV, or the the radio, the devil, right? The radio. Yeah. And so, and I'm sure that there were people during those times when you hear this voice coming out of this box, you're thinking, that's the enemy, that's the devil. And so we sometimes, out of our ignorance, particularly as of us as believers in the Christian faith, we attribute everything that's new that comes out, that's the devil, that's the enemy. But he is not a creator, again, but he is a manipulator. And so what God will do is he will bring something into the earth that's new, that's fresh, and that he knows it's for the time, or it's for the time that is coming. Right. And he'll introduce that. I believe, and I'm going probably deeper than I want to, but I believe that he wants to do it through people of faith.
I believe the same.
You dig what I'm saying? I think a lot of times God wants to bring these new inventions, new ideas, new technology through people of faith. I think, though, unfortunately, we get so stuck on a religion that we miss God wanting to do those kinds of things in the earth through us, through his people. And so we miss those opportunities because I think we're so inundated with how we think God wants to do something. God wants to do only do something through the church, or do something through traditional means. And that's not how God works. God, if God knew that you were going to be born in 1960, then he already knew what kind of technology you in your lifetime were going to be working with, you were going to be dealing with, right? If you were born in the 1800s, he knew what kind of technology you were going to be, have in your lifetime. Right. And so I think we have to think broader, is that when we see new advents of technology, and we see new things come into play, new inventions, we have to cast out this ignorance that sometimes we as believers get where we start thinking, oh, that's the enemy, that's the devil, and that ain't God. That ain't God. No, it is God. But the enemy is ready to pounce on something that he knows we're not ready to receive. Right. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Yeah.
And so I know I'm going a little bit deeper than I wanted to, but I wanted to give some backstory to that because we have to change our thinking as to what it is that we're seeing.
Right. And every generation, every century has something. They have, just like you said, in our time, we have technology. And when the World Wide Web came into play, I remember in high school when computers,
home computers
were starting. I remember having them in school. Everything was so new. And so I believe what you just said. I think God, this is him using these things to help better our lives in the time that we're in. But again, the manipulator, the enemy, tries to use it to what? To manipulate, to destroy, to bring down. That's what he come to do, to kill, to steal, and destroy, right?
I absolutely right. And I think about, and just to jump in there real quick, honey, I think about, we go to scripture, and as soon as Christ was anointed by the Holy Ghost in the River Jordan by his cousin John the Baptist, we see that the Spirit of God forces Yeshua into the wilderness, right? Jesus into the wilderness. Right. And one of the things that the devil comes and tempts Jesus with is, yo, bow down before me and I'll give you what? All these kingdoms. Yeah. Now, what none of that is, right?
None of it.
None of it was his. He created none of it.
Right.
Now, but he's able to offer this as a counterfeit to the one who is the rightful owner, in hopes that he's going to forget, like Adam did, who is the rightful owner and manager of this territory that we call Earth, right? That's the king's dominion. And so, again, I don't want to go so deep into that, but what we're saying is, you guys, we're going to have to dispel a lot of this ignorance that we have around technology. And so when something new comes into the earth, particularly with things that can help advance us, advance our communication, think about it.
And advance the kingdom.
Absolutely. And you just hit what I was going. This thing is going around the world. And so it's no longer where you're getting the gospel or the message of hope. You're not going by horse and carriage anymore. You're not going by camel, right? And God knew that in this century that you're not going to be going by camel to get to Brazil. You're not going to be going by horse and carriage to get to Australia. But the internet and technology is going to get it there. And so what we have to do is we have to start changing our thinking about how we're perceiving new technology, new ways that things are being introduced into the earth.
Absolutely. And we have to be careful about what we think we see and what we think is right or true, and it's not.
Right. So
that's what we want to touch on as well.
Right.
So that everyone would know, no, this is not true. This is false. I remember that there's so many things that have come out about so many different people. People have been affected by, false information, using and creating stories and narratives that are not true, and so, and people's homes have been destroyed. People's lives have been destroyed. People have, I know influencers that were on TikTok and they were so stressed out about, some of the things that were told or said about them that they're no longer here. Right. Why? Because they decided that I can't take it anymore. So they committed suicide. So we have to be really careful in what we think we see.
Right.
If you're not actually there, how do you know?
Right. Right. Right.
And if it is true, why are we in such a world now that everybody is so cruel? I'm so into seeing you you making a little money, or you look like you are doing
Right.
better than me.
Right.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get behind the keyboard, and maybe not put a picture up of myself,
Right.
and put a picture of a cat or dog or something, and get behind the keyboard and just begin
Right.
to do what? Blast you, make you feel like you're no one.
I want to definitely hit on that,
Right.
but I want to reel it back just a little bit
Of course.
before we really jump into that.
Right.
One thing, whoever controls the narrative controls the minds of people.
Absolutely.
And so we have to go back to, again, a lot of the propaganda machines that run, particularly in our country.
Yeah.
And so those propaganda machines are out to feed us imagery, to feed us stories. And so that's coming through news. That used to come through the radio. That used to come through the television. That used to come through all these different means, newspapers, magazines, whatever. It came through those periodicals at that time and those means of communication,
Right.
so that they could paint a certain picture or narrative that says this group is inferior, this group is superior, this group is better, this group is not better, right? And so what does that do? That makes you think something about yourself or about someone else that isn't all the way true. And so again, there used,
if at all,
if at all, right? And so
Right.
there used to be a time when there was integrity in telling the news. There was integrity in reporting the news accurately without falsifying stuff, because money wasn't at the forefront
Right.
of why the news was being reported.
Right. And everyone trying to, we got it first.
Mhm.
Breaking news, this channel got it 1st.
Mhm.
I remember when what you just said. I remember when news was integral. My dad, he loved looking at the news.
Mhm.
He loved reading the newspaper. I remember that. I'm dating myself.
Right.
I remember Walter Cronkite. Anybody remember that? Okay, I'm a little older, but anyway, how when he would come on and he would speak about something that has happened, you literally sit there and you listen, and you knew that he wasn't, inflating it.
Right.
He wasn't making it bigger than it was. He
Right.
was telling the facts of what he knew of that story.
Mhm.
So everything has changed now.
Right. Right.
Nothing is the same.
And like you said, everybody's, the news outlets, the news media, everyone's in a hurry to hurry up and be the first to get the
sports
story
world
out.
is like
Right.
this.
And so you can be giving out wrong information or misinformation because you're wanting to be the first. But what does that do? What that does is that makes you want to grab the headlines first, and people are not necessarily digging into the story. They're just looking at what the headline says.
Right.
And so now with social media, with TikTok and all the stuff that we have now with video, it can be something that took 20 minutes for it to happen. Somebody captured two minutes of the situation.
Right.
But what you do is you went and looked at the first 20 seconds of the 2-minute video
Right.
of a 20-minute situation that happened. And now you're forming an opinion
Right.
based off of 20 seconds of a 20-minute situation.
And especially now when we got these independent news
Right.
stations now that are not reputable. You don't know who that person
Right.
is. I can tell you this, honey. Sometimes I don't know if this happens to you,
Mhm.
but because I have Yahoo accounts and AOL accounts, sometimes I can't even get up. I can't even get up for the day out of bed without news coming that this gonna happen or that gonna happen. And sometimes, it's inflated.
Mhm.
It's not always the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Right.
You don't even get an opportunity to put your feet on the floor.
Well, it's
off the bed,
and it's what it is. It's to entice you to click more,
entice,
right?
yeah.
And so what they're after is clicks, you guys, and they're after you clicking on information, and it's like baiting you,
Right.
so that you keep clicking. And so the more that you keep clicking, you have to understand that these companies are run off of ads being monetized and stories and headlines being monetized so that they can make money. Everything at the helm of this thing is money. And so when you're clicking on these images or you're clicking on these headlines, there's somebody behind this that is banking on this misinformation, this falsified information, hoping that it lures you in and it baits you in to keep clicking on more stuff. So they'll give you a little nugget here, they'll give you a little morsel here, and then your next thing you know, 10 minutes later, the same outlet is coming out with more information about the story that you just clicked on 10 minutes ago, right? And it's keeping you glued to your news feed. It's keeping you glued to your TikTok or whatever it is that you're on. And again, just to kind of, go back, what we're saying is that there was nothing wrong with the internet. There was nothing wrong with the television. There was nothing wrong with radio, the original intention behind it. But what happens is evil men, evil women, evil people come in and they distort their original intent as to why it is what it is. Think about, and I'll use this example and it's kind of graphic, but I think it'll hit home with folks. You think about God creating intimacy, creating sex between a husband and a wife in the union of holy matrimony, right? And then thousands of years later, someone creates a video camera where you're able to capture images on video. Okay. And then someone creates a television where you're able to put those images on a TV screen into people's homes. Right? Now, if you look at all of those inventions individually, those are not evil inventions. Those are not evil ideas that came into the earth. God creating sex between a man and a woman, husband and wife, is not evil. Someone creating a television is not evil. Someone creating a video camera is not evil. But what evil does is he will take those components and say, now we can take this video camera, film these people who are not in holy matrimony having sex, and now we can put it on this TV and we can put it into people's households. Fast forward into the 21st century, and now we can put that on the internet. So now it's not just on your television screen, it's on your computer, it's on your tablet, it's on your phone. And so I want to be clear about what we're seeing and why we're seeing it. Those components aren't evil, fam. The original intention of those things is not evil. But what man does is he comes in and corrupts it with evil and says, okay, we can twist it and distort it to be able to do this with it, right? And so what we're seeing with these propaganda machines, more so now with social media, is because you got 1 billion people on social media daily, is that we can keep feeding you images and we can keep feeding you stories and headlines that we know most people are not going to even research to find out if it's factual. Right. Okay. So I really want to jump in because we're just really scratching the surface and we want to go in deep. But before we do that, babe, we're going to pay some bills and we're going to have a couple of commercials. You guys don't go anywhere. We're coming right back right here. Living More than Morgans. Stay tuned.
Where can I find a professional logo designer? Wow, nice. Infusion Design Solutions. Visit us online at infusion.com.
All right, you guys, and we're back to the second segment of Living More with the Morgans, and we've been having a really good discussion with this show entitled Distractions and Illusions. And we'll kind of pick off where we left before the break, where we were talking about the advent of devices, technology, the internet, so forth and so on, and how all these things have been manipulated over time to now, where things are being perverted, things are being targeted at the youth and our children, and it's being targeted in a way to, again, keep us distracted, keep us at odds with one another. And a lot of times, like I was saying before the break, is that we don't necessarily take the time to even research what it is that we're seeing on these platforms, in the headlines and so forth. We just kind of go with right with what we see, and we're being fed so many images. We're being fed so much. It's overload. It's overload, and you guys, it's poison, and it is. They are distractions that are taking us off focus, off of what really matters. And so many times many people are going to look up and say, wow, look at how much time I missed. Look at how many opportunities I missed because I was so busy being inundated with images and headlines about stuff that didn't matter, that didn't even pertain to them, you know? Right. And so we are literally being fed, you know, you call it junk food, but it's junk media out here. Yes. And you guys, it is being used to divide and conquer. It really is. And there are entities out here, there are corporations, there are big wigs and elites that don't care what happens to you. They don't care what happens to the common person. As long as they can make their money, as long as they can get their ideas out, they can get their message and their agenda going forward, they don't care what happens to the average person, to normal people. They don't care about that. And so in jumping in this segment, I want to kind of tie that into how that if these messages and these images that we're seeing through technology, this isn't new, you guys. This isn't a new construct. This is something that's been around eons. This is something that, you know, the Roman Empire used to use. This is something that kingdoms and countries and stuff and governments are using today. And I think about a country such as North Korea. And here for the past couple of years, you know, I've been real big on researching and just studying North Korea. And I've been fascinated by a lot of things, you know, with regard to North Korea. And one of the things that they were real big on is that they used the propaganda machine to paint this imagery that America and the people in the West are just evil and they're this, and, you know, we have a problem with the North Koreans and all these different things. Right. And so they use that propaganda to really feed their people. And one of the things that the North Korean government does is they cut off outside media, and they cut off the internet from the rest of the world so that their people only get the information that is produced and manufactured by the North Korean government. So they don't have access to what's going on in the rest of the world. And so when you're fed only these images and only these stories, when you came out the womb, you're being fed these stories. Right. You're being taught this in school at an early age. Then all you know, you're being programmed to think one thing, and you're being programmed to think these people are my enemies. These people are the evil ones. These people are out to get me. And so I want to tie that in with what's going on in North Korea and what's been taking place for the past 50, 60 years. And all of that has been set up by one family, you guys. And so this family came in and they learned a lot of this from being exposed to how societies in the West, in America and in Europe would put together propaganda machines, right? So there was a time here in America that we were told, oh, the Viet Cong and the Vietnam and all this different stuff, these guys are the enemy. Well, what did they do to us? Right? So a lot of people didn't find out that we were fighting a useless war until after the damage had been done. And so that's what we're dealing with today. Yes. Is that we're finding out, oh, that wasn't true. Yes. Oh, that was really a lie. Or, oh, that was propaganda. Or that was something that was done to make me believe this about these people. Yeah, they spin the narrative. Oh, and it's them. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And here we are. And it's like, we've become North Korea in a sense, right? And not to slander people from North Korea. I'm not saying that to denigrate people from North Korea.
Right.
Prayers to them totally. But what I'm saying is that they have built that mechanism, that machine,
Yes.
in modern day times, that we're seeing that being emulated and being replicated
Right.
in other parts of the world, and right here in America at home.
It's brainwashing. It's that's just what it is.
Yeah.
They are totally being brainwashed. And this is the same thing that we're going through now here. Brainwashed. In other countries, the same thing. You know, you're being brainwashed into thinking that, oh, it's just about us and our people. Everybody on the outside is evil. Everybody that's in this country is evil. What have you? So that's what it is. It's called brainwashing. And they did that when the slave trade, brainwash. You know, bringing people here, making them feel inferior, taking people around the world, making them feel like, oh, you're not. You need guidance, and you need us, and we have to help you.
One of the things, honey, that I noticed that people do to brainwash or to program people's minds is they'll not only feed you the information that they want to feed you,
right,
but they will subtract the facts.
Absolutely. Oh, that's the major part.
That's the major part, right? People, they will subtract the facts and omit the facts intentionally, and then feed you the lies and the BS because they want you to forget that, or they don't want you to know that outside of the story that they're telling, there is factual information that they would never want you to know. And then you will question it when you start hearing the truth. It'll make you question the truth because you've heard the lie for so long.
Right, absolutely. And that's why we're saying, don't always think that what you're seeing is the absolute truth.
Right.
Always research. Always go farther than what you see. Don't just stay right there. Okay? Go farther. Let me find out if it's actually true. I remember seeing something the other day. I can't recall what it was, but it was quite a few, and I asked you about it. I said, is this true? Is this person hurt, or this person leaving? Oh, I know what it was. Like we love the Mavs. We're Maverick, Dallas Mavericks fan. And we begin to see, they're going to, Klay Thompson is being traded, remember? Or Gafford is being traded. And so we're looking and I'm like, babe, you think it's true? Let's look a little farther. There's no information out there on the mainstream news about these guys being traded.
And you know, it's so funny.
You know,
our go-to now for credible news is like TMZ or somebody.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly
we can't even trust CNN and Fox and we can't even trust our news outlets to tell us the truth. We're going to a gossip column, TMZ,
which used to be like not that.
Yeah, they were not putting out credible information.
No credibility at all.
And so now we're getting, if TMZ don't say it, we don't believe it. If somebody passes away and you hear it through the grapevine, you're waiting for TMZ to come and confirm it.
Right.
Not CNN, not MSNBC, not Fox News, because unfortunately, we've known these news outlets to spin the truth to target their audience, to target their respected audience. And so, unfortunately, a lot of people don't know what to trust. They don't know who to trust. And so, with the advent of AI, artificial intelligence now, I saw something the other day where someone put out this image. And again, like I said, it was a good story, but it was not the truth. And they put this out about our Congresswoman, Jasmine Crockett here in Texas. And they and it's like I don't know, for whatever reason, they wanted to put this story out and get likes and get, people buzzing and talking and stuff, whatever. But as soon as I looked at the image and because we are in the digital marketing, graphic design world, we've trained our eyes to be able to see when something is real and something is fake and something has been created.
Right.
And so I was able to see instantly, seeing this image, that, well, that's not Jasmine.
Right.
And that's not a real picture of her.
That's right.
And so
to talk about that, what indications did you know that wasn't actually Jasmine?
Great question. And one of the things that you will help you to be able to identify when you're seeing an AI generated picture. AI still has some work to do when it comes to rendering the video and images that it puts out and that people are creating. And if you don't know, AI images and AI video is created by prompts that you have to type in. So a person is typing in what it is that they want to see, or what kind of video they want to create. And so AI and its engine does its best to be able to create that based off of the prompt that person types in that engine. And so one of the things that I've been able to see as a graphic designer over the years is, before there was AI, there was Photoshop, right? Yeah. And so with Photoshop, because I know how to maneuver in it, and I know how to create images that I want to create artificially, if you will, I can tell what's been altered. I can tell what's been added. And so back in a couple of years ago, you would see an image on social media, and if someone, if a woman was more enhanced, people would say, oh, that's Photoshop. Right. Or if you saw, a person with smooth skin with no wrinkles or whatever, and they're in their 80s, oh, that's Photoshop, right? So it came a time where people were able to tell, oh, that's Photoshop. Right. Well, now we need to put on those thinking caps again. And what can help with that, just to answer your question, honey, what helps with that with AI is still not great in generating certain body parts. And so when you look at an image, it does not create the intricacies of a person's ear very well. And so when you look at an image, look at the ears really, really good if you can. And look at if a woman has earrings, it will look like there's not even, an earring in her ear. Right. It just kind of looks like it's been just drawn on or sketched on, right? So AI is not real good at the ears. Now, this is not to say that it won't get better, because some nut will watch this video and say, oh, okay, well, I'm going to program AI now to do the ears better. Okay. Right. But I say that to say that that's one way you can look. And then also look at the hair follicles. There's a way hair has a texture in actual photos than it does in AI generated images. Okay. With video, you'll see things kind of go out of sync. You'll see things, even in some of the images where, the letters will be off, or the letters in the background will be off, or there won't be actual words, or the hands won't move correctly, or the mouth won't move in sync with the words that are coming out of the person's mouth, right? So those are little things that you can really look at. So and a lot of those things, honey, are called deep fakes. Deep fakes. And so people are out here with these AI engines creating these deep fake videos and images for the sole purpose of duping people. There was a situation that you showed me the other day with the singer Kenny Lattimore and his wife, who is a judge. Beautiful couple.
Yes.
And they had something come up where someone was putting out these false images and false information about them, and being divorced and all this just ugly, untrue stuff, that they were able to contact Google. Right. And now they're able to find out who these people are. And they found out that they actually know the people, and that these people who were doing this ugly, false stuff against them, they were a family, right? They were a husband and wife team doing this ugly, malicious stuff against Kenny Lattimore and his wife. And so these are things that are coming now into the forefront, family, because there's so much of it.
So much of it.
I think about you know, Bishop T.D. Jakes. One of the things that we saw, and see, this was so hurtful because this is our pastor of 20 years, 20 plus years. This was my mom and dad's pastor before I got there, before you got there. And so what we were seeing and hearing is all these stories about, you know, the situation with Diddy and all this different stuff. And how do you fight that machine? You want to speak up, you want to say something, you want to defend, which we did. But how do you fight this raging machine that is putting out images and false stories in record time? Every time you look up, there's a new image, there's a new story, there's a new headline or whatever. And so what people were not doing, of course, is they weren't researching credible sources as to, is this information true?
Well, sometimes people didn't want to read,
and they didn't want to, and I was going to hit that.
If it was credible or not.
And I'm going to go there. Right. Yeah, I was going to go there because they don't want to read it, because if I already have angst against a person, if I already have a secret hidden agenda or secret hatred towards this person, I'm not going to research to find out if this is true. I'm going to go off of the first 20 seconds of the video. And the headline I just read, it said, see, child, see, I told you, see, I told you it wasn't true. I told you he was like this, because that person was waiting on something to validate their misinformation or to validate their hidden angst and anger or bitterness towards this person that they have internally. And so I use that as an example because it's not just him, and it's not just, celebrities and preachers. These are average, ordinary people are going through this.
Exactly. And that's why it could be you. Right?
Yeah.
Us.
Yeah.
So we have to be able to not only research, but there has to be we have to be able to have some type of compassion and understanding, and not just go left on someone. Because they've gotten too big, and I don't, they're too big. So, I'm already trying to be them or be like them. Right. So, I'm not, I believe it. I believe everything I see. I believe everything I hear. Just like with Kenny Lattimore and his wife, you got a husband and wife team, that are sitting there spewing out lies, and just to get what? Money.
Just to get money.
To get money. Let me ruin people's lives. Just let me to go back to what I said earlier. You have people who, because lies have been told and things have happened in those lies, that people have they've killed themselves. Yeah. So we have to be careful, and we have to really, everything is not for us to see. We talk about this often, babe. Everything, you guys, they're buying for the clicks, they're buying for the likes, they're buying for that you're going to do that. Again, people are making money. I know influencers and people now, they call themselves influencers. This is a whole, people that made up a job now. I'm an influencer. I'm a digital creator. Okay, really? But they make up things now. And guess what? I seen an influencer, quote unquote, great guy, beautiful family, cute little girl. I literally follow them. But this man and his wife, they don't really have a full-time job. Their full-time job is getting you to watch their videos. And they have a full life. They drive nice cars. They just moved in a brand new home. I'm not saying anything is wrong with it if the content is good and wholesome and all of that. But you got people who are doing this who content are not right and not correct. It's false. And they're just living off of those who want to, let me click on that. Let me see what's going on with these people, because my life is is not going well. So I'll just look at what's going on. And the world is in turmoil. Mm-hmm. So I'll go and I'll look and see what's going on and I'll comment.
Right.
Right.
And the thing of it is that when you know the camera is on you,
right,
you can act accordingly.
You can act accordingly.
And so if I want to put out information, if I want to put out videos of my family or us or whatever, and we're doing day-to-day stuff and right. And we know that people are going to tune in and watch that, then we can paint this picture. Right. We can give this illusion right. that says, oh man, we got it going on, or this is what we're doing, or this is what we've got, and we've got this going, and our businesses are doing this, and so forth and so on. So when you know the camera is on you, and you set the camera up to capture certain angles, certain positions, certain stories, certain occurrences, certain situations that are favorable for you, then that's what people are going to do. But here's the funky part about that is that, again, you're painting this picture and this imagery, and on the other side, that viewer is getting a perception of you, good or bad, where now that if that person is getting a good perception of you and they're getting good energy from you, then, oh, okay, I'll keep watching. I'll back. Oh, I love them. Their couples goals, their marriage goals. Oh, yeah. But then on the flip side of that, there's someone saying, man, I can't stand the fact that they're blessed like this. I can't stand the fact that they got a new house, and they got another car. They're able to send their kids to these kinds of schools or whatever. Right. So now you're having to deal with both of those dichotomies, right? You're dealing with two sets of people that have two different perceptions of what it is that you're putting out there. That's right. And that's so we have to be careful that the information that we're taking in, we have to research. Yeah. And I'm going to say this, and this is no offense to my people, but us as African Americans, we have that bad sometimes, where we do not go and research a thing out. We don't go and we don't give discernment to a thing, to a situation. We'll just go face value. Right. Such and such said it, such and such reported it, or it's on somebody's page, and we just go and we share it, or we embrace this information because of that void that we have in ourselves. And so when unfortunately, what I see is that some of us who don't have certain levels of success that we think other people have, then we internalize that with evil. And that breeds jealousy, that breeds envy, that breeds a slew of negative attacks. Yes. Where now we're slandering this person's character. We're formulating opinions about this person, and we don't even know them. And we're doing that based off of a couple of videos that we've seen or a couple of images that we've seen. And if we be quite honest, honey, this has happened to us. We've had people formulate opinions about us based off of what we put out there, based off of the fact that, those guys are doing a podcast, those guys are doing XYZ, yada, yada, yada. Those guys have businesses, but they don't know the struggles. And even if we told them, they have already formed opinions about us that even if we told them what we've been through, even if we told them the hardships and struggles that we've gone through to be able to get to this position or this level that we're on, or that they think we're on, they still wouldn't embrace us. They still wouldn't accept us because they've already had this angst and this bitterness or whatever it is in their heart against us. And so we have to be careful, because right now, these distractions and these illusions are pitting us against one another.
That's what I wanted to say.
Absolutely. It's pitting us against one another, family. Right. And that's a different kind of evil.
Oh.
The Bible talks about, we need to be showing love for one another. How are people going to know our love for God and the love that we have for God if they see the tension and they see the animosity and the bitterness against one another that we have? And so you can be successful, you can be doing good, you can be doing all kinds of great things, but at the end of the day, someone is formulating an opinion about you based off of limited information or information that they think they know about you. And so images that are coming out, AI, deep fakes, headlines that are coming out, falsified information, stuff that's coming out for people to get clicks, to get likes or whatever. There's tons of videos on YouTube that people will splice together these deep fake videos and old images or whatever, just to be able to create channels and create videos that they know people will go and click on because it's clickbait, because it's gossip. Right. You got church gossip channels. Like what kind of evil creates a church gossip YouTube channel where we're going to spew false information and lies about preachers and pastors and whomever? Like that's a different kind of evil, babe.
Again, yeah. And then, I'm not against having your smartphones at church and all of that. But at some point, I just wish that, I know this can't happen because people are not going to do that. I wish they could say, oh, at the door, we got a lock box or lock something that you can lock your phone up in so that you can pay attention to the service instead of sitting in there doing, videoing the service. It's on YouTube. Our services are, they're on YouTube. So you don't need to do it and video it and send it to anyone. It's on YouTube. All you have to do is tell them to go back and watch it on YouTube.
And so again, what does that sound like? That sounds like a distraction.
It's a distraction.
You're supposed to be in a place of worship,
right?
Where you're supposed to be getting the word of God. You're supposed to be getting instruction, whatever, and you're pulling out the phone
and worshiping.
Right. You're supposed to be in there worshiping, and you're pulling out the phone to capture other people, other things that's going on in service, just so that you can be the first to put that on your YouTube channel.
Right. I remember when.
What are we doing here?
Bishop had the heart attack, and we were there.
Right.
Okay, it's our church. We were there, and we literally, after he begins, had our eyes closed, and he was praying. And when we opened our eyes, we could feel something was wrong. Of course, we wasn't videoing it, but we immediately, the people that are members, they immediately started getting on their knees. People started walking and praying, because once security and once the security team and the pastors came up and got Bishop, they walked him off. We're praying. You got people videoing, and I end up seeing one young man who has his channel on, I think it's on Instagram, of course. Yes, Instagram. And he began to talk about it. He's like, oh yeah, Bishop T.D. Jakes got sick today and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, how did you capture that piece where Bishop was slumped over with the microphone still in his hand and he's going down, and we're praying. How did you capture that piece? Because you were sitting there waiting to get something. And let me just say,
yeah. No, you good.
To get something to put on your page. And him and I, we didn't go back and forth. I told him, I said, I'm not going back and forth with you, because I literally, responded to the post. I said, why were you not praying?
Right.
Why were you capturing Bishop going down? Oh, because you have a platform.
Right. And that's the biggest question. Why do you feel the need that you had to do that?
Right.
Why do you feel the need that you had to, again, nothing in you kicked in and said, man, I got to pray for this man of God that's on the stage.
Especially when he told me that he's my pastor. Okay.
Right.
If he's your pastor.
So if he's your pastor, the first thing, is not, oh, let me grab my camera so I can hurry up and get this footage. And then once service is out, I'm going to post this on my wall. That can't be the first thing. And I hope you watch this, bruh. Yeah. And you can talk to me if you need to.
Right.
Because that shouldn't have been the first thing that come up in your, and that's a different kind of evil.
Yes.
And I'm going to call it smooth smack out each time. That's a different kind of evil, pimp. And you know it is.
Right.
The first thing that jumped in my mind to do, and my wife's mind, is when we see our bishop
or
anybody, anyone,
yes.
When we see any person slumped over to the point to where they stop talking, and you see insecurity, you're seeing people rush to the stage to help him. The first thing I'm thinking, especially in a church setting, a worship setting, is to stop and pray. It's to stop and lift up intercessory prayer for that person who's going through that. I don't care who it is. And so to say, oh, I'm going to capture this, I'm going to put this, and then I want to be one of the first to get an inside scoop or inside position to where, hey, this is the angle that I got. Man, that's a different kind of evil,
Right.
fam. That's a different kind of evil.
And I'm certified in CPR. Okay, I'm certified in CPR and the defibrillator machine.
Yeah.
To get people heart that has stopped back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go film them first.
Right.
I'm not going to go, well, let me film
I'm going to
you
jump into
and
action.
then let me do it.
Right.
No, I'm going to jump into action.
With
That's
what
the
I know to
first
do.
thing
Bingo.
I know to do.
Yes.
Is to jump into action. Why? Because a heart of compassion will do that.
There's that word. There's that
Right.
word compassion.
Right.
If you watch last week's episode, that's
That's
that
the
word
word.
compassion.
That's the word. Right.
Empathy.
Empathy.
Empathy says, okay, his humanity is more important to me than capturing this moment to get it on my social media platforms.
Right.
His humanity and his health is more important than me having any kind of angst or animosity that I may have because, he ain't my pastor. Y'all, that's a different kind of evil.
It is.
And I will call it smack out each time. And you can hit me up, bruh.
Yeah.
You can find me if you got some words for me. You can find me.
Right.
I can be found.
Right. We have to. We must. Okay. Stop being so distracted by things that don't matter, by things that do matter, that need our immediate attention.
Right.
Or need our attention. Period. It's affecting our families. Right. People's families are being torn apart. People are losing their family members because of a lot of things that are put on social media now that shouldn't be out there.
Right.
People are having marital issues.
Right.
People are having family issues, health issues. Now, some people put their health journeys out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about that. I'm speaking about people that are not willing to put their journey out there,
mm-hmm.
or don't want it out there, and people are putting things out there that are not for you to see.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to understand again that these distractions and these illusions and things that we're seeing, they are to do what? It is to continue to feed us a narrative that is not true, to have us all up in arms,
mm-hmm.
to have us against one another, to always want to be the first one to, let me film this happened or that happened. I know there's some cases where to protect yourself, you'll need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. But I'm speaking about things that are not that,
yeah.
that will hurt and harm. Think before you want to put something out there.
Right.
Think and make sure that is not something that could ultimately hurt someone's,
right.
Life or hurt someone's family. Okay, people are fragile.
And
now.
if it does hurt someone's family,
right,
you should have the fear of God in you that's going to be blood on your hands.
That's a different story.
And that's a different subject for a different day.
Right.
That could be blood on your hands, and I want people to think about the stuff that they're willing to not just create but share.
Share, yes, absolutely.
Come on now,
Absolutely.
what are you sharing?
Right.
That you think is true, that you didn't research, that you don't know is credible, but you're willing to share it with someone in your clique, in your crew, in your circle, one of your partners, one of your homegirls. You're willing to share this information.
Right. We have to be careful.
That you have not researched and investigated to see if it's true. Right. You got to be careful, because you may be sharing that with someone who takes that information and you start speaking against someone that you got no business speaking against.
That's true. That's true.
I got to go there. You could be saying something against somebody, and you don't know their situation. You don't know who that person is. You don't know the oil that they have on their life.
That's so right.
You don't know how God has called them. You don't know how God is transforming them. You don't know how God is using them. And if you haven't guessed yet, this is a faith-based platform. This is a faith-filled platform.
Right.
We do that here. That's who we are here.
Right.
So if you're going to share that information, the Bible says, whatsoever things that are lovely,
Yes.
whatsoever things that are pure,
Yes,
that
right.
are honest,
Yes, right.
integral, so forth and so on. Think on these things. Do these things.
That's right.
Share these things.
Right.
But if we're so quick to share stuff that's negative, that's painting someone in a bad light, could it be that blood could be on your hands? Could it be that consequences could be on your hands? Could it be that God is withholding blessing and opportunities from you because you're dabbling in things that you don't even have no business dabbling in? Stuff that doesn't pertain to you, stuff that is filled with gossip, stuff that is filled with evil,
Right.
but you sharing it or taking part in it, and you're getting stuff withheld from you, or things are happening to you in your health, or things are happening to you in your life. Why? Because you are involved in something that is meant to be a distraction, and it's an illusion.
Right.
Is that okay?
That's good.
So you guys, we're going to take one more quick break. We're going to end the show after this break right here. So don't go nowhere. We'll be right back to Living More with the Morgans.
What if there was one company that you and your business could trust that could provide all these services at prices that won't eat up your business capital before it gets off the ground? From logo design, branding, custom website development, hosting, social media marketing, print media design, and more. Infusion does it all under one roof with a team of professionals that are just a phone call away. Infusion Design Solutions, the infusion of exceptional design and affordability.
All right, you guys, and we're back right here on Living More with the Morgans, and we've had a pretty heated conversation tonight, but I think it's been good, and I think it's been not just heated, but healing. And that's what it's about. It's not about casting any threat against anybody, but I am going to be passionate about the things that we need to be passionate about. And I think protecting people and helping people and blessing people is something to be passionate about.
Right.
And so my passion earlier in the past segment is not to serve any kind of threats. I want to make that very clear. But what I'm saying is, when I told the brother he can come see me so that we can discuss why this was wrong. I want to make sure that that's very clear. Right. Why this was wrong and why you had to, in a place of worship, your response should have been to pray and to intercede, not to be the one who has to get the inside scoop.
Right.
And be the first to put the inside scoop out there.
Absolutely. Everything is not good. Okay? Everything is not good. Everything's not for you, especially us who are in the faith. The enemy wants us to be distracted. The enemy wants us not to be on course with what God has for us to do. You guys, our time here is limited.
Right.
We have work to do. People need food. People, look at the SNAP programs that are going, that have been affected. People have been affected by that. Government workers have been affected. You still have people that are homeless on the street. We still have work to do. Mm-hmm. We have work to do before Yeshua, which is Christ, comes back here. And we don't want to be found with our hands in a cookie jar dirty. Right. We want to be found doing what he called us to do. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know, that is your time to get off of social media. Stop going and sharing stuff and get in his face and say, Lord, why am I here? Mm-hmm. What is my purpose here? Mm-hmm. What am I here to do? Mm-hmm. So that I can get this done. Because at the end of the day, he's going to say either well done or depart me, for I never knew you. Mm-hmm. So this is serious to us. Mm-hmm. It's serious, and we want you all to understand that we love you enough, and us in the body of faith, in people, period. We love you enough to say, you guys, everything is not worth looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody who has a platform, that doesn't mean you follow. If it's something that's good, it's something that's uplifting, there's something that's powerful and positive,
Mm-hmm.
that's helping mankind, helping people, doing something that that shows people who are being healed or what have you,
Mm-hmm.
great. But if it has anything to do with harming people,
Mm-hmm.
making people feel bad about themselves,
Mm-hmm.
talking about their situation that they're going through,
Mm-hmm.
if it has anything to do with that, it's not worth looking at.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to stop and think. There's so many illusions. There's so much distractions. Stop and think. Don't allow that to be your testimony or you. Get somewhere. You have family. You have children. People, look, time is winding up. We all are only going to be here so long.
Mm-hmm.
Spend as much time with the people you love as you can. Make memories. You understand what
Absolutely.
I mean?
Absolutely.
This is the most important thing about this. This is why we're here. Our platform, making memories, doing something that's going to create positivity and helping people to know you're loved, you're seen,
Yes.
you're wanted. This is what this is all about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think as we close the show, I want people to really hear the heart in our voices. And this is somewhat of a clarion call. This is somewhat of a warning as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't hear this kind of message. You can't watch this kind of show and then go off and keep doing what you had been doing.
Right.
Now, if you can, then again, the consequences of your actions will catch up to you because you knew to do better and you refused to do better. So I want to make that very clear. This platform is to do that. It's to challenge. It's to challenge you. It's to challenge us.
Right.
This is not flossing and showboating and we this and we that. No. We're in the trenches. We're in this thing where we're going through life just like you are.
Right.
And we don't have it all figured out. We're not some goody two shoes and Bible thumpers. We're not none of that.
No.
We're trying to figure out this walk just like you are.
Right.
But I think if we do have a little bit of wisdom, if we do have a little bit of information
Right.
that we can help people with and share and
right.
impart,
That's right.
then I think it's our responsibility. It's everybody's responsibility
Right.
to be able to take your experiences, the things that you've gone through, the things that you suffered, and the things that you've been victorious in going through,
Right.
and be able to convey that wisdom and that information to other people so that they too can make better decisions for their lives and for the lives of their family and people that are close to them.
Right.
And so distractions and illusions are real.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to be careful of what it is that we're looking at. We got to be careful of what it is that we're sharing.
Right.
We got to be careful of the opinions that we're formulating about people and circumstances that we don't fully know or fully understand. Why? Because not only are there consequences for you, but there could be consequences for the people. There could be things that can happen to the people that you're sharing this information about. And when you do that and you partake in that, the scripture says that every tongue that rises up against you, you will condemn. Every tongue. It's not just the ones that created the headline. It's not just the ones who created the AI video. The scripture says every tongue that rises up against you will be condemned. You don't want to be one of those tongues, fam. I don't want to be one of those tongues. So I want to get the right information, or you know what? I want to subtract and omit myself from the wrong information. And all information ain't good information.
No, it's not.
I don't need to know what's going on with a lot of these celebrities. I don't need to know what's going on with the pastor down the street. I don't need to know what's going on in his church. I don't need to know that. And I surely don't need to report that and share that. What I need to be doing is praying.
There you go.
You feel me?
What we do.
We need to be praying. We need to be interceding. Right. And we need to be worried about our own household and our own business or what's going on with our own lives first, before I formulate an opinion about anybody else and what they're going through.
Absolutely.
So you guys, this isn't to chastise, but it is to correct. And before we can give correction, we ourselves have had to take the correction.
That's right.
We ourselves have had to say, okay, now what can you do better, Landa? What can you do better, Rotunda?
Right. Absolutely. Yes.
What do you need help in? What do you need work in?
Right.
Let he who was without sin be the first to cast a stone.
That's right.
I ain't got no stones in my hand and don't want none. And I surely don't want to throw it at anybody before I look at myself and what it is that I'm doing or not doing.
Right.
So again, even in our political arenas, we're seeing party against party, Democrat against Republican. And all of these are brewed by machines. And we don't know that the people at the top that are causing all this dissension and all this tension and all this discourse between folks or whatever, they get along. They got money. And they can get on the shows and the television shows and the panels and discuss against one another and call you this and call each other this and the Democrats are this and the Republicans this. But at the end of the day, when them cameras go off, their families eat.
Right.
And they probably go to a restaurant right after and said, good job, Bill. You sure did it today. You did a great job, Helen. Oh, man, you really gave it to me in that second segment. Oh, man, they're going to believe that. And guess what? They're banking on you to believe that. They're banking on you to be ignorant and to remain ignorant and to eat up their evil. They're banking on you. Don't allow it to do it another day. Don't allow them or anyone to feed you images and lies and false information about your neighbor, about your family members. Yes, even in our families, you got people, cousins and aunties and uncles or whomever, mommies and dads, whatever, are brewing up lies and misinformation about people to keep mess in the families, because that's how they thrive, is off of mess. You be the one, you be the difference maker. You be the bigger person and say, no, not on my watch. This ain't happening. I'm not going to perpetuate this misinformation. I'm not going to perpetuate this kind of attitude and negativity. It's not only going on in our houses and in our communities, but it's going on in our churches. It's going on in our places of worship. And y'all, this is ugly. And it's uncalled for and it's unnecessary. Y'all, we got to put an end to this kind of stuff. If we're going to go forward and have more life, more love, and more of the world to explore, we got to put away this petty stuff. This is elementary baby stuff that we should be past. This ignorance, we need to be past this, because God has so much more for us, family. So much more for us that we just scratching the surface. And me and my wife plan to get it. That's right. And we don't care who it offends. We don't care who's mad. We don't care who's angry or jealous, because we want you to get it. We want you to have it. So we're supposed to stop because you don't want us to have it? It don't work like that. God's kingdom is big enough for everybody to enjoy more life and more love. And we plan on doing that, and we will do that. And our prayer is that you do that too. So you guys, if you aren't already, you can follow us on our social media platforms. Living More with the Morgans is on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We're on Threads. And you can also subscribe right here on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. And you can also find us anywhere that you get your audio podcasts. Just visit our website at www.livingmorewiththemorgans.com and simply click on listen at the top, scroll down, and you'll be able to find the links where you can listen and subscribe to Living More with the Morgans. Until next week, y'all have a good one.
Have a good one.
Thanks for tuning in.